Alright, what's up guys? My name's Ace, and before I get started on my Portal Airboat percent run, I want to talk a little bit about what exactly it is. So, I'm going to be doing all of Portal without ever picking up the Portal gun and allowing this command, ch_create airboat. And that is going to allow me to spawn an airboat basically wherever, and it's pretty broken. So, with that, time is going to start whenever my crosshair shows up on screen, and that is going to be in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so right at the very start, we're gonna get out of this vault that we're normally locked in by spawning an airboat in the floor and getting in it. We're gonna come and grab this cube. I actually didn't think that would land on the button. I probably could have made it through the door with that, but we're gonna get in the elevator before GLaDOS even starts talking. Now, in order to save a little bit of time in this next part, we are once again going to be clipping airboats through walls. This is a lot of the skips in this run. It's going to be the fact that we can just clip through walls using airboats. So I'm gonna spawn an airboat here, and now I'm going to spawn one over the door, ideally, and clip straight out of bounds with that, and get back into the elevator. And we've completed the entire chamber before GLaDOS would have normally let us out of the vault.
Excellent. Please proceed into the chamber lock after completing each test.
So in the next chamber, normally we would, this would be the part where we grab the portal gun, but we have decided that the portal gun is cheating for this speedrun, so we're not going to pick it up. Instead, we're going to spawn an airboat on the ground, airboat above us, and hop in it and hop straight into the elevator.
Which may, in semi-rare cases, emancipate dental fillings, crowns, tooth enamel, and teeth.
So this, by the way, is one of the first runs that I'm going to be doing on a newer, or on an older version, actually, of Portal. And so there's a chance this run could world record because this older version is actually faster for airboat percent for reasons I'll go into later. So we're gonna hop in this airboat and then drive it underneath this platform so that we can use this airboat to jump up on, climb into this next airboat. Whoa! Okay. Okay. That doesn't happen normally. I don't know what just happened. Okay, let's get this a little closer. That might be something worth looking into, though. I have no idea what just caused me to launch. So coming up on this next chamber, this is going to be one of the few times we aren't just clipping through walls in a chamber to skip it. I'm going to spawn an airboat to knock this cube over to me and use that instead of clipping through a wall to get in the elevator. You actually can clip above this wall too to try and skip past the door that way, but it's very inconsistent and it's pretty much the same speed. So the cube is just safer to do. So now we are going to use another airboat to clip into this bottom room here. And the reason why we're doing that is because GLaDOS' voice line will has to end before this elevator up here moves. So we can't just clip straight into the top room, we have to clip into the bottom one first and then clip into the top room so that the elevator will actually move. So for Chamber 6 and 7, we have more pretty simple chambers. We're just going to climb on a couple airboats to get to the end. Ignore that message. That happens sometimes on the older version of Portal.
The Aperture Science high-energy pellet seen to the left of the chamber can and has caused permanent disabilities.
So for Chamber 7, we're going to do the exact same thing we just did. We're going to spawn an airboat on the ground, an airboat where we want to go, jump up on it, and get in. Yeah, fun fact, the reason why all this stuff works is because whenever you are getting into an airboat, you essentially have no clip, which means that you do not collide with walls and stuff at all, which means that you can just jump into airboats straight through walls. and completely ignore the collision of everything while doing so. So for Chamber 8, we've got a trick here I like to call Airboat over goo. We're going to jump over this railing. We're gonna jump over this railing over here, spawn some airboats under us to launch ourselves to the door, to the elevator. Because solving puzzles is for weenies.
Followed by death. Good luck. Very impressive. Please note that any appearance.
So a lot of these airboat clips that I'm doing actually have super precise lineups that I've put a lot of work and practice into. This is an example of one. There's a chance that it could take me a little bit to get this clip. Yeah, that attempt didn't work. We'll try it one more time. Nah, that one didn't work. Let's try getting a little bit closer. There we go. Yeah, a lot of these clips are very, very precise. Some of them are less precise than others, but this one is one of the more precise ones. So in Chamber 10, we're going to get our first taste of a trick I like to call airboat boosting.
Hello again.
But first, before we do that, I'm going to drive this airboat through this door, and ideally, yep, it will do that and launch me to the other side. And now, I'm going to spawn a lot of airboats underneath myself to boost myself upwards and to the next platform. If I get lucky, that can actually launch me straight to the elevator, but we didn't get lucky this time, but that's okay. In Chamber 12, we're going to get to see some more airboat boosting as we use it to complete that entire chamber. So for this map, I'm going to wedge myself in this corner. This is another pretty precise airboat clip. I have to place the airboat in a way that it rotates like this, almost like that, so that I can get out of the airboat and end up on top of it and jump right here. And then I'm going to spawn an airboat in this wall so that I can get out of bounds and jump down over this room. And now I'm going to use save loads to clip myself back into this room. And because we use save loads to clip into this room, this door will actually not open. So instead, we are going to get into this airboat and get out of it and end up on top of the elevator. You can actually do this on a lot of the elevators, but it's most useful on this one. Now we're gonna do the airboat boost I was talking about to launch yourselves up a little bit. Do it one more time, ideally, by standing on top of an airboat and spawning a lot more of them. At this point, you might notice that my frame rate's gonna be dipping a lot, and that's just because the game can't handle the number of airboats that are on screen. Don't worry about it. It will be fine, despite what my frame rate is. So now we're going to throw this cube down to the button and get in the elevator before my game crashes. We've got a solid 8 FPS right now. That is real good. We can't even hear the sound of the elevator moving. Oh, we're down to 6 FPS. Better. Down to 4. There we go. We're out of the map. We've got normal frame rate again. So we're going to use another airboat to clip through this wall into the main chamber. Spawn an airboat up against the wall. Now, line myself up on one of these dots, actually go a little farther back, and spawn an airboat in a way that will actually allow me to get in it and clip into the final room.
As part of a previously mentioned
that clip can be pretty tricky, so I'm happy that I got that one pretty quickly.
When the testing is over, you will be missed.
This is going to be another pretty simple chamber. We're going to spawn an airboat on the ground, airboat on the top platform. We're just going to hop up into it.
that
There we
they
go.
may be informed of
Thought the elevator wasn't gonna open for a
compliance
second, I was worried.
issues. No further compliance information is required.
So chamber 15 is one of
And you are an
the harder
excellent
chambers
subject.
to complete this with. It's not too bad, but we'll see what happens. First I gotta clip through this glass right here. Clipping through that glass can be pretty tricky because the fizzler above it, its hitbox extends pretty low and can sometimes just destroy the airboat. And if you're in an airboat whenever it gets destroyed, your game will crash if you don't load a save immediately. So it's pretty risky. But it's the only way that we can actually complete this. Alright, we're good. We're past the scary parts. So now, I'm going to spawn an airboat up above this goo chamber. And we're gonna hop in it and get out of bounds. Whoa. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. So now we're just gonna hop our way out of bounds over the goo tunnel. This goo tunnel is... You could complete it in bounds, but it's really scary and random to do so, so it is much easier for us to just go out of bounds and then save load clip back into it. So now in order to get to the end here, we're just going to spawn an airboat on the ground and do the same thing we did in Chamber 12 and launch ourselves up to the next platform. Stand on top of the airboat there. There we go. Wait. Oh, okay, there we go. So for Chamber 16, this one is another pretty tough chamber just because we have to deal with the turrets. There's actually a potential skip that we could do for this one if we can find an easy way to get out of bounds. But so far, I have not been successful with getting out of bounds with airboats in this chamber, like easily, in a way that would actually be faster. So first we're going to clip into this room, we're going to knock all these turrets over, ideally. So now, I'm going to spawn an airboat inside of that turret because I need that one to not be able to shoot me. And we're going to grab this turret and then we're going to climb over this wall with it. Right here. And stand on top of it. And from here, I can spawn an airboat into the final room and get in it. And we will have completed Chamber 16.
Well done, Android. The Enrichment Center once again reminds you that Android Hell is a real place where you will be sent at the first sign of defiance.
So I have my splits open right now, and we're about to be a solid minute and a half ahead, so that's pretty cool. Anyways,
The vital apparatus vent will deliver
for this next chamber, we're just gonna go straight to the end. We're not gonna bother with the companion cube. We don't need the companion cube. Now we're gonna do another lineup. This is a kind of precise lineup. If I do this right, then I will be able to drive this airboat back inbounds, just like that, and then hop straight into the elevator. That went way better than I expected. Normally it takes me like 3 or 4 tries to get that clip, just because driving the airboat back inbounds is one of the more precise parts. So I'm gonna line myself up here inside the elevator, so that I can do an ABH all the way across this gap.
The Enrichment Center.
And then we're gonna airboat boost our way up here. Now we're gonna do another airboat boost so that we can get on top of this window pane. And the reason why we want to get onto this window is because if we get on the window, then we can line up another airboat clip that will get us straight to the end room of this part of the chamber. We're gonna spawn an airboat there and boost from the window up to where we just placed the airboat, and then use that to clip into this room. And now we've got one more thing left to do here. This is the hardest airboat boost in the game because of how high you need to get. But we've got to get all the way to the top of this map, which can be pretty hard because of how precise airboat boosting is. I'm gonna load my previous save here. I don't think that it's gonna work. I would have lost all of my frame rate before I got to the end, I think. This might work if I can get some distance. Okay, there we go.
Be advised that the next test requires exposure to
So I'm gonna... This might be a little slow frame rate wise. My game might slow down a little bit while I'm in this elevator, but that is fine. We are inside of Chamber 18's elevator. We're out of here. Oh yeah, my FPS is a solid 5 right now. 4. 3? 5? Okay. I thought my frame rate was about to dip to 0 and crash for a second. But we're good. Alright, so chamber 19, this is one of the harder chambers in the game. First, I'm going to just clip straight through this wall to get to the end of this first puzzle, and I'm going to spawn a bunch of airboats in the goo before I get out of mine.
Enrichment center regulation.
And the reason why I'm doing that is because I need something to stand on whenever I get out. And and I think this will work. Okay, yeah, we're good. So now, I'm going to airboat boost up over this fire.
Congratulations.
This is not a great quick save. Okay.
The test is now over. All aperture technologies remain safely operational.
Alright, nice. And we airboat boost our way up here. Now we're gonna use this barrel, stick it in the corner, climb up on it, and use this barrel to climb our way up here, because we... Alright, anyways. Another airboat clip, so that we can get into this room with the door. Now, we need to open this door in a way that it opens up towards the airboat so that we can actually get through it. I'm going to use an airboat to stop this fan, and an additional airboat to clip through the fan. Let's try that again. Well, actually, we can get through with just one airboat this time. It's pretty sick. So now we're going to do another airboat boost to get up onto this catwalk. So that we can get into this room over here. And we're going to use this airboat to get out of bounds. So we're going to hop out of this airboat, and we're just going to jump straight to the end of this map. Ideally. That could have worked a little better. Let's try that again. Okay. We didn't make it all the way to the end of the map, but this is good enough. We can save load clip back in bounds here, and then I'm going to use just a couple more airboats to clip through this little fence thing that's right here. And then get to the end of the map. Now there's an invisible wall here that does not disappear until you shoot your portal gun inside this room. So I need to use an airboat to clip past the invisible wall so that I can actually get to the loading zone. A little stuck. Ah, we didn't make the first cycle. That sucks. So we need to get up there, and we need to stand on top of these pistons to do it, but we didn't make the first cycle because I got stuck on an airboat. That's fine. We're going to spawn an airboat up there, and then use the momentum from these pistons to launch ourselves a little bit higher so that we can jump and get in it. And now, we're going to go a little bit behind the scenes here. This is usually not an area you can get to in Portal, as you can see by the whole missing textures wall that's going on right there. But we need to get back there so that we can actually climb up to this next section. Now we're going to spawn an airboat on the ground. We're going to do another airboat boost using this airboat that's on right here on the ground. Just like we did in some of the other chambers. Not quite enough height, but we can airboat boost from here instead. It'll be a little easier. Alright, nice. Now, once again, we're going to go behind the scenes of Portal. I'm going to clip into this side room. And the reason why we want to get in this side room is because there is a room above us that we want to get to. So I'm going to spawn an airboat there in the ceiling and use another airboat boost to push myself up to the airboat and actually get in it and to get into this hidden room up here. Oh, that actually would have worked. It's hard to tell. Come on. This is kind of hard to do at low frame rate. Oh, that is not what I wanted to happen. I spawned too many airboats. Okay, there we go. Now we're in this room. So now I'm going to do another lineup here. And the purpose of this lineup is so that I can spawn an airboat in a way that I can not only drive it into this end room here, but also get out of the airboat and be able to stand on top of it. So if we do it like this, that we just did, then we can do another airboat boost and use the airboats that we just spawned to actually get to the end of the map. That was bad. Okay, there we go. Now, one more airboat for us to get into in this map. Oop, okay. A second airboat to get to the end of this map. And now we're gonna jump to the next map. So now, there are turrets that are in both of these rooms, so I'm gonna spawn an airboat inside of them so that they will not be able to shoot at me. And I'm gonna use this barrel to knock over the turret in this room. I'm gonna do another lineup here so I can clip through this vent. Let's try that clip again. This is one of the more precise clips, as you can see. There we go, this will work. So I'm gonna get out, get into this room. And now there is a turret room on the other side of this wall that I'm gonna clip into with an airboat. Back up a little bit. Okay, there we go. So now we need to grab this turret. We're gonna knock it over real quick so that it starts freaking out and shooting everywhere before we start trying to climb it. Now we're gonna use this turret to climb all the way up. Ah, that angle wasn't very good. Let's try that again. Okay, we're gonna use this turret to climb all the way up to the top of this wall that we can get onto this platform, just like that. And now, we gotta go out of bounds again. So I'm gonna spawn an airboat right there. I'm not 100% sure if this will work, but it probably will. If I get out... Nah, it didn't work. Alright, let's load the previous save. We need this airboat to be in the wall, like that. Now I'm gonna spawn another airboat on the ground, and use this one to jump into it. And now we're just gonna hop our way out of bounds to the end of this map. We could, if in theory, use airboats to clip through all the stuff inbounds, but this way is much faster, so we choose to do it like this instead. Now I'm going to get over the loading zone. Try and go backwards so I can get a little bit more speed. There we go. Oh! That was bad. That save actually won't work. Let's try a different one. We're gonna have to go all the way back here. That's unfortunate. But that's fine. I'm actually stuck crouched, which means I can't get over. Okay, new plan. I'll save a clip into this. We'll spawn an airboat to get ourselves out of here. And I'm gonna spawn an airboat so that I can get into this vent. This is the old setup that we did before we found a way to just climb out of bounds on an old version. So now we're going to get out of this airboat and jump to the end from here. And get right over the end of the loading zone and save load clip down. I've got one last hard trick in the run before we get to GLaDOS, which is right after this. Got an airboat boost over this gap. There we go. Let's get around these. Now there is a very, very precise lineup here that I'm going to attempt to do so that I can get... Whoa, that airboat just vanished. Yeah, I want to get into this airboat in a way that it ideally will pop me straight up, but it didn't do that, but that's fine. We can just get into an airboat like this and get up here. Now we're gonna do one final airboat boost before the GLaDOS room. We need to get all the way to the top of this map. And this is pretty hard, because the only place that we have to spawn airboats is this little, like this small little gap. So this is probably gonna take a few attempts. Oh, that actually probably would have worked. Might take a little bit. Alright, let's load the previous save so that we're not getting shot by turrets. Usually I can get it in less attempts than this, so this is kind of unfortunate. Let's try adjusting to the left a little bit. To the right, I mean. Okay, there we go. Now we've got some height. Now we're gonna just land on this fence. Or on this catwalk, I mean. And now we're gonna get to GLaDOS' room. Ooh, the frames are making it really hard to hop. But once we get into GLaDOS' room, all the airboats that are currently on the map are going to despawn. Which means that we will have a stable frame rate again. So now for the GLaDOS fight, if we were using portals, we could use a turret. We could bring a turret into this chamber and knock all the cores off her with that, but we can't do that. So instead, we are going to have to do all of this without portals, which can be a little difficult. But I do have a lineup so that I can get the missile turret to shoot directly at GLaDOS. This is a pretty precise lineup, but if you watched my Portal Glitchless run earlier, then you would have seen this already. But if we line up right here-ish, we can get the rocket turret to shoot directly at GLaDOS. And this is the fastest way for the missile turret to shoot at her. Normally you would not be able to do this because there's a giant just block here, invisible block, that the developers put here to make it so that the missile turret cannot aim at GLaDOS. But there is just a little bit of it that you can stand on the outside of this railing, that you can actually get the turret to aim at you so that it will hit GLaDOS. This lineup is pretty tight, so we'll see if it works. Alright, first attempt didn't work. Try that again. Alright, we got the second attempt. Now we need to go grab this core. This is the easiest core for us to get. We just gotta jump on top of this airboat and grab it. And we're gonna go over and press the button again and hop our way back over, so that we can toss it in. Now we're gonna go hop back onto the railing that we were on before. You can see the turret isn't attempting to aim at me right now because I'm in that line of sight block that I was talking about. But once I get on the edge of the railing, it'll actually shoot at me again. So this is one of the harder cores to get. Or well, this is probably the hardest core to get. We got an airboat boost all the way up to it up there. So we can get enough height. This might work. Nah, not a good angle. Okay, this will work, I think. Oh no, it almost worked. Right. Okay, there we go. So you just need to hop over here and grab this core and stick it by the incinerator. Now there's a good deal of airboats in the room, which, you know, can be an issue in terms of getting to the button, but that's fine. We'll just hop our way over them. We're gonna open up the incinerator, make our way back to the last core, toss it in, or to the second to last core, and now we're gonna make our way back on top of the railing so that the missile turret will knock the last core off of GLaDOS.
Joking. I'm kidding. When I said deadly neurotoxin.
This should work. There we go. Now the last core is going to spawn directly in front of us right there. Actually getting to this one can be a little tricky, but we got kind of lucky. So now we're just gonna stick this core by the incinerator. We're gonna make our way back to the button. We're gonna make our way back to the button. Now hop over to the button, push it,
Your brain scanned and permanently backed up in case something terrible happens to you.
and
Just about to.
time. So that was actually, shockingly, that was world record, despite how bad the last splint went, but it was world record by 7 seconds. The end of it could have been a little better, but it was still a good run. So yeah, that's Portal Airboat percent. What was my real time? I'm actually curious. My in-game time, or which is without loads, it's gonna be a lot lower than what my real time was. That's still a 29:41. So he still shattered the estimate. Actually, so without loads, I PB'd there, but with loads, I didn't PB, because I'm assuming my PB did not have as many frame rate drops as this one did. So that's cool. But yeah, by real time, this was 17 seconds behind. Fortunately, being able to count without loads. Oh wait, I forgot there's something I can do in this cutscene. I can't believe I forgot this. There we go. So there's Portal. With that, I gotta go prepare for my next run, which is gonna be right after this. Make sure to stay tuned for Cluster Truck, because there's gonna be Twitch integration, guys. You guys are gonna get to play as well as me. I'm gonna go set that up. Cue the commercials.